In the mist-covered hills of Zandoria, a secret lived behind closed doors. Kaelo was the strongest warrior in the land, yet every morning he woke weaker, while his wife, Nyara, grew strangely radiant. But nature has a price for what is stolen in the dark, and Nyara was about to pay it in the most painful way a woman could imagine.
Welcome to another African Storytime Tales video. Subscribe to my channel to keep these beautiful tales alive.
Long before the rains forgot how to fall, when the baobab still whispered the names of the ancestors, there existed a village called Zandoria. It sat like a jewel in the valley between two mountain ranges, where the earth was rich and the hunting grounds stretched beyond what the eye could see. The people of Zandoria were blessed. Their granaries overflowed with millet and yam. Their livestock grew fat on sweet grass. And their warriors were known across 7 kingdoms for their strength and valor. Among these warriors, none stood taller than Kaelo, son of Motu, descendant of the Lion clan. Kaelo's shoulders were broad as the doorway of the chief's hut. His arms could bend iron. His legs could carry him through 3 days of hunting without rest. When he walked through the village square, children stopped their games to watch. When he spoke in the council of men, even the elders leaned forward to listen. Kaelo was not just strong in body. He carried something else, something the old women called the full measure of a man. His presence filled a room. His laughter made barren women weep with longing. His very essence seemed to radiate power. And Kaelo belonged to Nyara. Nyara was beautiful, there was no question of that. Her skin held the deep richness of forest honey. Her eyes were wide and bright, always watching, always calculating. Her hips swayed when she walked to the river, causing young men to stumble over their own feet. She adorned herself with beads of amber and copper, with bangles that sang when she moved. The other women envied her, though they smiled to her face. How did plain Nyara, daughter of a potter, capture the heart of the mightiest hunter in Zandoria? What charm did she possess that the chief's own daughters did not? The wedding ceremony had been magnificent. 7 cows were slaughtered. The drums played for 3 days and 3 nights. The priestesses blessed the union under the full moon, calling upon the ancestors to grant the couple many strong sons and beautiful daughters. Kaelo's mother, Mama Zola, had danced until her feet bled, joy radiating from her weathered face. Finally, her son had chosen a wife. Finally, grandchildren would come to fill her compound with laughter. But 3 years passed. Then 5. Then 7. Nyara's belly remained as flat as the grinding stone. In Zandoria, a woman's worth was measured in many ways, but the greatest of these was fertility. A woman who could not give her husband children was like a field that refused to yield crops, like a well that gave no water. The whispers began slowly, carefully, when Nyara was not near. Then they grew bolder. Some said she had angered the fertility goddess. Others suggested she had been cursed by a jealous rival. The most vicious rumors claimed she was not truly a woman at all, but a spirit in woman's flesh, incapable of carrying life. Nyara heard every whisper. She felt every sideways glance. She saw the pity in the eyes of women who balanced babies on their hips while drawing water from the well. And something dark began to grow in her heart, like a seed planted in poisoned soil. She became obsessed with one terrible fear: what if Kaelo leaves me? What if he takes a second wife, a younger wife, a fertile wife? What if I lose him to someone who can give him what I cannot? The fear consumed her. It ate at her during the day while she pounded grain. It haunted her at night while Kaelo slept beside her, his powerful chest rising and falling with each breath. She began to study him with new eyes, seeing not her beloved husband but a threat. His strength was the problem, she decided. He was too magnificent. Too desired. Too free. If she could somehow diminish him, make him dependent on her, then he would never have the power to live. If she could keep him weak, he would need her. He would be hers alone, forever. This was when Nyara met the woman who would damn them both. On the outskirts of Zandoria, where the forest grew dense and the path became uncertain, there lived a herbalist named Kajiso. Kajiso was not like the village healers who set broken bones and brewed fever remedies. Kajiso dealt in darker things, forbidden things, the kind of medicine that required payment in more than cowrie shells. She had been banished from 3 villages before settling near Zandoria, and the elders warned people to stay away from her hut. But desperate people have short memories for warnings. Nyara went to her under the cover of darkness, her face hidden beneath a heavy cloth. "I need something," Nyara whispered, standing at the threshold of Kajiso's hut, unable to cross fully into that forbidden space. Kajiso looked up from the roots she was grinding, her eyes gleaming like a jackal's in the firelight. "Everyone who comes to me needs something. The question is, what are you willing to give?" "Anything." Dangerous word, that. "Anything." Kajiso smiled, revealing teeth filed to points. "Tell me your trouble, daughter of the potter." Nyara flinched at being recognized but pressed on. "My husband is too strong. Other women desire him. I fear he will leave me for a fertile wife. I need to keep him bound to me." Kajiso set down her grinding stone and studied Nyara with ancient eyes that had seen too much. "You don't want a love charm. You want a leash. You want to steal his power and make it yours. Can it be done?" "Everything can be done, for a price." Kajiso rose and moved to a dark corner of her hut, returning with a small clay gourd sealed with beeswax and wrapped in python skin. "This is the vessel of essence. Inside this ointment is the concentrated extract of 7 plants that grow only in the shadow of execution grounds. When a man sleeps, his spirit wanders, and his body becomes vulnerable. If you apply this ointment to your hands and perform the harvest ritual I will teach you, you can draw out his essence, his vitality, his very manhood, and store it in this gourd." Nyara's hands trembled as she reached for the gourd. "Will it hurt him?" "Not immediately. He will simply wake weaker each day. His strength will flow into you. You will remain young while he ages. You will glow with health while he fades. And most importantly, he will become too weak to desire another woman, too diminished to leave you." Kajiso's smile widened. "Isn't that what you want?" Nyara clutched the gourd to her chest. "And the payment?" 3 silver bangles now. And later, when the debt comes due, you will pay in ways you cannot yet imagine. Nature keeps perfect accounts, child. What is stolen must be returned, with interest. Nyara should have walked away. She should have thrown the cursed gourd into the river and begged the ancestors for forgiveness. But fear makes fools of even the wisest, and Nyara was far from wise. She removed the silver bangles from her wrist, the ones Kaelo had given her on their wedding day, and placed them in Kajiso's gnarled hands. "Teach me the ritual." And so it began. That very night, Nyara prepared Kaelo's evening meal with special care. Into his stew, she mixed a pinch of powder Kajiso had provided, a sleeping draught so powerful it could fell an elephant. Kaelo ate heartily, praising his wife's cooking, and within an hour, he collapsed onto their sleeping mat, unconscious in a sleep deeper than death. Nyara's hands shook as she removed the beeswax seal from the gourd and dipped her fingers into the black ointment inside. It was cold, colder than river water in the dry season, and it seemed to pulse against her skin like a living thing. She whispered the words Kajiso had taught her, words in a language older than Zandoria, older than the mountains themselves. Then, with trembling hands, she performed the harvest. She felt it immediately, the transfer of essence, like water flowing from a higher vessel to a lower one. Kaelo's body jerked once in his unnatural sleep, but he did not wake. A faint luminescence, visible only to Nyara's eyes, flowed from him and into the gourd she held cupped in her other hand. It looked like golden smoke, like captured starlight, like the very substance of life itself. When it was done, Nyara sealed the gourd and hid it beneath the floor of their hut, under a loose stone where no one would think to look. She washed her hands 7 times, scrubbing away the black ointment until her skin was raw. Then she lay down beside her husband and waited for morning, her heart hammering with a mixture of guilt and exhilaration. When dawn broke, Kaelo woke confused. "I feel strange," he said, sitting up slowly. "Like I ran a great distance in my sleep." "You probably just dreamed heavily," Nyara said, keeping her voice light. "Here, eat this porridge. You'll feel better." But Kaelo didn't feel better. At the morning hunt, his spear throw fell short. His legs felt heavy. The other hunters noticed but said nothing, attributing it to a bad night's rest. Everyone has off days, even mighty Kaelo. But Nyara performed the ritual again the next night. And the night after that. And every night for months, then years. The changes came gradually, so slowly that at first no one noticed. Kaelo's shoulders seemed less broad. His laugh lost some of its thunder. He began returning from hunts empty-handed, something that had never happened before. The other warriors started bringing him portions of their own kills, out of respect for who he used to be. Kaelo's confusion grew into quiet shame. He didn't understand what was happening to him. He visited the village healer, who found nothing wrong. He made offerings at the ancestor shrine. He prayed to the gods of strength and virility. Nothing helped. Every morning he woke a little weaker, a little more diminished, a little less himself. Meanwhile, Nyara bloomed. Her skin seemed to glow from within. Her eyes sparkled with unnatural brightness. While other women her age began to show lines around their mouths and eyes, Nyara's face remained smooth and youthful. She moved with energy that made younger women envious. People began to whisper that she had found the secret of eternal youth, that she must be blessed by the gods. If only they knew the truth. But there was one thing Nyara's stolen vitality could not give her, a child. Her womb remained as barren as sun-baked clay. And with each passing month, each cycle of the moon that brought blood instead of new life, her desperation grew. She began to visit Kojiso again, demanding stronger rituals, more powerful magic. "Why am I still barren?" Nyara demanded, throwing down payment of food and cloth. "I have taken his essence. I have his vitality inside me. Why do I not conceive?" Kojiso laughed, a sound like bones rattling in a gourd. "Foolish woman. You take the seed before it can be planted. You harvest the rain before it can fall. A garden cannot grow if the gardener steals the water meant for the soil. Don't you understand? By taking his essence each night, you prevent the very thing you claim to want. You are drinking the well dry and then cursing it for being empty. Then tell me how to conceive. Give me a ritual for that. There is no ritual that can override what you are doing. You must choose, Nyara. Your husband's strength, or a child. His essence in the gourd, or his seed in your womb. You cannot have both. Nature does not bend to greed." Nyara left that meeting more tormented than ever. But she could not stop. The ritual had become an addiction. Each night, as she drew out Kaelo's essence and felt it flow into the gourd, she felt powerful, in control, safe. Without it, she was just plain Nyara again, the potter's daughter who had somehow tricked a great man into marriage. With it, she was eternal, unchanging, secure. So the harvesting continued. 3 more years passed. Kaelo was now so weak he could barely lift his own spear. He had become a joke among the younger warriors, though they were careful not to mock him to his face. The great Kaelo, reduced to doing women's work, grinding grain and mending fences. His mother, Mama Zola, wept to see him so diminished. She had watched her strong son waste away into a shadow, and she knew, deep in her grandmother's wisdom, that this was not natural. This was not illness. This was something else. The village began to suffer. With Kaelo too weak to hunt, and the other hunters losing heart at seeing their champion reduced to nothing, the hunting parties came back with less and less game. Food became scarce. Children cried with hunger. The elders called emergency councils. They made sacrifices to the gods, but the situation only worsened. It was Mama Zola who finally acted. Late one night, she traveled far beyond Zandoria's borders to seek the seer of the 7 moons, a prophetess so powerful that even chiefs and kings sought her counsel. The journey took Mama Zola 5 days, her old legs carrying her through forest and across rivers, driven by a mother's love and a grandmother's fury. The seer lived in a cave behind a waterfall, a place where the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds was thin as morning mist. She was ancient beyond measure, her body bent like a question mark, her eyes clouded with cataracts, yet she saw everything. "I know why you have come, daughter of sorrow," the seer said before Mama Zola could speak. "Your son is being devoured from within his own house. A thief sleeps beside him each night, stealing what makes him a man." "Nyara," Mama Zola breathed, her worst fears confirmed. But why? What could she gain from destroying her own husband? Fear makes monsters of us all. She is afraid of losing him, so she has made him too weak to live. But she has also made him too weak to live. If this continues, your son will die before the next planting season. His essence will be completely drained, and he will fade away like smoke. How do I stop her? You cannot. Only Nyara can end this. But I can reveal the truth to the village, and let shame and justice do what love and reason could not. The seer handed Mama Zola a small pouch of white powder. On the night of the next full moon, gather the village in the square. Put this powder in the fire. It will create smoke that reveals all hidden things, all secrets, all lies. What is done in darkness will be dragged into light. But be warned, once truth is revealed, it cannot be hidden again. The consequences will be severe. Mama Zola clutched the pouch. "I don't care about consequences. I want my son back." 2 weeks later, on the night of the full moon, Mama Zola called for a village gathering. She claimed to have received a message from the ancestors about the hunger plaguing Zandoria. The villagers came, curious and hopeful. Nyara came too, standing beside her diminished husband, her face a mask of concern while her heart pounded with dread. The seer of the 7 moons was there as well, having followed Mama Zola back to the village. Her presence alone caused murmurs of awe and fear. As the fire burned in the center of the square, Mama Zola threw the white powder into the flames. Immediately, the fire turned from orange to brilliant blue, and smoke began to rise, thick and white and swirling with strange shapes. Tonight, the seer's voice rang out, silencing all whispers. "We will discover why Zandoria suffers. We will uncover the rot at its heart. We will expose the thief who has stolen from us all." The smoke began to take shape, forming images that everyone could see. It showed Nyara's hands, anointed with black ointment. It showed her whispering forbidden words. It showed the essence flowing from Kaelo's body into the curse god, night after night after night. The villagers gasped. Some screamed. Others wept. Kaelo stared at the smoke visions, his face contorting from confusion to understanding to absolute devastation. "Nyara, you did this? To me?" Nyara tried to run, but the warriors surrounded her. She fell to her knees, shaking her head wildly. "I did it for us. I did it to keep you. I love you, Kaelo. I couldn't bear to lose you." "Love?" Kaelo's voice broke. "You call this love? You have killed me slowly, stolen my very manhood, made me less than a man, and you dare call it love?" The seer stepped forward, her blind eyes somehow fixed directly on Nyara. Bring forth the gourd. It is hidden beneath the floor of your hut, under a loose stone near the western wall. Bring it now, or the earth will open and swallow you whole. 2 warriors ran to Kaelo's hut and returned with the clay gourd, still wrapped in python skin. The seer took it and held it high. In this vessel lies the stolen essence of a good man. In this gourd is contained 7 years of theft. Open it, Nyara. Face what you have done. With trembling hands, Nyara broke the wax seal. The moment the gourd opened, a column of black smoke erupted from it, thick and foul-smelling. It soared in the air above the gathering, carrying with it a sound like distant screaming. Then it rushed toward Kaelo like a river returning to its source. The smoke poured into Kaelo's mouth, his nose, his very skin, being reabsorbed into the body from which it had been stolen. Kaelo convulsed, his back arching, his muscles spasming. Mama Zola held him, tears streaming down her face, as 7 years of stolen life force returned to its rightful owner. When it was over, Kaelo lay gasping on the ground. Then, slowly, he began to change. His shoulders broadened. His arms thickened with muscle. Color returned to his face. Strength flooded back into his limbs. Within minutes, he was standing, looking like himself again, like the warrior he had been, like the man he was meant to be. The villagers erupted in celebration, but the seer raised her hand for silence. The theft has been undone, but justice has not yet been served. Nyara, daughter of the potter, you have committed a crime against nature itself. You have violated the sacred bond between husband and wife. You have stolen what can never truly be taken, only given. And in your greed, you have brought suffering to an entire village. Nyara sobbed, her beautiful face ugly with terror. Please, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. Please forgive me. Forgiveness is not mine to give, the seer said. That belongs to your husband, if he chooses. But consequences are not negotiable. You sought to prevent yourself from losing Kaelo by making him weak. Instead, you will lose everything. You sought to remain youthful while others aged. Instead, you will be marked forever. The seer touched Nyara's forehead, and Nyara screamed. When she pulled her hand away, there was a mark on Nyara's skin, a dark symbol that looked like an empty cradle. This is the mark of the barren thief, the seer pronounced. It will never fade. It will be a warning to all who see you. You wanted to control and possess, and so you will wander alone. You wanted to harvest without planting, and so your womb will remain forever empty. You wanted to keep your husband weak and dependent, and so you will never know the strength that comes from true partnership. This is the price nature demands. This is the debt come due. Kaelo stood, fully restored, looking down at the woman who had been his wife. There was no hatred in his eyes, only a deep, profound sadness. Did you ever truly love me, Nyara? Or did you only love having me? Nyara couldn't answer. She had no answer. Go, Kaelo said quietly. I divorce you before these witnesses. You are no longer my wife. You are no longer welcome in my home. Go, and may you find whatever peace is left for you. Nyara fled the village that night, her cries echoing through the hills. Some say she went to live in a cave far from any settlement, alone with her shame. Others claim she wandered from village to village, the mark on her forehead preventing her from ever hiding her crime. A few whispered that she went mad, talking to the empty gourd she still carried, as if it could give back what she had lost. Kaelo went on to marry again, this time to a kind woman named Amora who loved him for his character rather than his strength. They had 6 children together, all healthy and strong. Kaelo's hunting prowess returned, and Zandoria prospered once more. His mother, Mama Zola, lived long enough to hold her grandchildren, her prayers finally answered. The story of Nyara became a cautionary tale told to young couples on their wedding night. It became a lesson shared by grandmothers to granddaughters. It became a reminder that love built on control is not love at all, but a prison for both the captor and the captive. Because here is the truth that Nyara learned too late: you cannot harvest what you do not plant. You cannot steal strength and expect it to make you stronger. You cannot take without giving and expect to receive blessings. The universe keeps perfect accounts. Nature demands balance. And what is stolen in the dark will always be brought to light. Marriage is not ownership. Love is not possession. A partner is not a prisoner to be kept weak and dependent. True love requires trust, and trust requires risk, and risk means accepting that the one you love is free to choose you every day, not because they have no other choice, but because they want to. Nyara wanted security, but she built her foundation on sand. She wanted to feel powerful, but she only revealed her weakness. She wanted to keep Kaelo forever, but she drove him away. And in trying to steal his manhood, she lost her own humanity. This is why the old ones say, what you take by force, you lose by consequence. What you gain through deception, you will pay for in truth. And the strongest chains are not the ones we put on others, but the ones we forge for ourselves through our own actions. Nyara walks still, they say, in the lonely places between villages, a warning carved into her very flesh. And on nights when the moon is full and the wind carries voices from the past, you can hear her crying, mourning not for Kaelo, but for the person she could have been if only she had chosen love over fear, trust over control, partnership over possession. Remember this tale when fear whispers in your ear. Remember it when you are tempted to control instead of trust. Remember it when you confuse possession with love. Because the woman who tries to steal her husband's manhood will end up losing her own soul. And that is a price far too high for anyone to pay.
If you loved this video, show me some support by subscribing and clicking the notification bell.